A very good morning. I'm Smriti Rastogi with Breakfast News. Let's begin the bulletin with our top headlines. International Court of Justice orders Pakistan to suspend Kulbhushan Jadhav's execution, says India should have been given consular access. Tax rates for gold, footwear, branded items to be decided on day 2 of the GST Council meet today. Food grains to cost less, pan masala gutka, SUVs to be costlier. Last rites of Environment Minister Anil Madhav Dave to take place on banks of Narmada in Hoshangabad. He passed away after a cardiac arrest on Thursday. Two people killed, several missing after bridge collapse in South Goa. Victims were watching an operation to rescue a youth who had jumped into Sanbordham River. And Iran votes in presidential elections. Incumbent Hassan Rouhani faces hardline rival Ibrahim Raisi. No incumbent has lost since 1981. A big diplomatic win for India. The International Court of Justice has told Pakistan to grant India consular access to alleged Indian spy Kulbhushan Jadhav. Overruling Pakistan's argument on the former Indian naval officer, the top UN court ordered Pakistan not to execute Jadhav till it delivered the final verdict in the case. Jadhav was sentenced to death by a Pakistani military court on charges of espionage.
A massive victory for India. The International Court of Justice on Thursday ordered Pakistan to suspend the execution of Kulbhushan Jadhav till it delivered a final decision in the case. Reading out the verdict at The Hague, ICJ President Ronnie Abraham told Pakistan to take all necessary measures to ensure that Jadhav was not executed. It further asked it to keep the court informed about the measures.
Under the present circumstances, it is appropriate for the court to order that Pakistan shall take all measures at its disposal to ensure that Mr. Jadhav is not executed pending the final decision in these proceedings, and shall inform the court of all the measures taken in implementation of the present order.
The court asserted that it had prima facie jurisdiction in the matter as there was a dispute between the parties over the circumstances of Jadhav's arrest.
Any reservations contained in the declarations made by the parties under Article 36, paragraph 2 of the statute cannot impede the court's jurisdiction specially provided for in the optional protocol. Thus, the court need not examine these reservations further.
The 11-judge bench also said that India should have been granted consular access to its citizen as per the Vienna Convention. It also rejected Pakistan's argument that a person convicted of espionage was not entitled to access.
The acts alleged by India are capable of falling within the scope of Article 36, paragraph 1 of the Vienna Convention, which, inter alia, guarantees the right of the sending state to communicate with and have access to its nationals in the custody of the receiving state. In the view of the court, taking into account the legal arguments and evidence presented, it appears that the rights invoked by India in the present case on the basis of Article 36, paragraph 1 of the Vienna Convention are plausible.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj expressed satisfaction at the judgment.
The whole world and the international community, at least of jurists, have reacted in one voice, and that voice is against the stand taken by Pakistan. So the whole world now knows that there was no trial. The entire thing was a charade, and this military trial and a trial in camera was really nothing.
Pakistan's foreign ministry, however,
इसे इस नज़रिए से देखते हैं कि श्री जाधव के जो अधिकार हैं और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कन्वेंशंस का जो वायलेशन और श्री जाधव के अधिकारों का जो वायलेशन, उसका हनन जो पाकिस्तान ने किया, उसको
Pakistan military court on charges of espionage last year. India moved the ICJ against the death penalty, alleging violation of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, hours after the ICJ order, the External Affairs Ministry said that the government will do everything possible to save Jadhav's life. Addressing a press conference, MEA spokesperson Gopal Wadle said that provincial relief provided by the ICJ is the first step in ensuring justice to Jadhav.
की दिशा में ये पहला ज़रूरी कदम है.
Let's listen in to some reactions from across the political spectrum welcoming the ICJ order on the Jadhav case.
International Court of Justice
and truth triumphs.
There is a complication in this case, and that is the treaty, the agreement that has been entered into between India and Pakistan. Now, if that excludes,
नहीं करेगा और इस आदेश के अनुपालन की सूचना देगा वर्ल्ड कोर्ट को, तो पूरी दुनिया के सामने आज पाकिस्तान खड़ा है. हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि पाकिस्तान इसको अनुपालन करेगा.
My party, the Communist Party of India, welcomes this verdict given by International Court of Justice. It's a very positive one. In fact, it vindicates India's position. Finally,
today, relying upon the Article 41 of the statute, has granted almost the entire prayer of India, and therefore now the Pak can't run away and the whole truth will come out. Now let us see what happens further.
Pakistan is known
from the consideration that may supersede the Vienna Convention to that extent. So I don't know whether this has been examined or not, but the case has been
inhuman, barbarous activities, and there was a strong apprehension that they might even hang Mr. Jadhav before he is able to file the appeal or before any verdict from the.
And we have only managed to internationalize the issue.
I think this is a very great big victory for India, because India has asked for certain provisional measures, and according to me, the ICJ
6 were finalized. Food grains and common use products will cost least once GST rolls out from July 1st. Pan masala gutka will attract 204% cess, while SUV
coffee and edible oil will attract the lowest tax rate of 5%.
Standard rate items थे 15%, 12.5%, plus cascading effect and local taxes वो जाकर 30-31%.
Family. The first important point we must remember is that we have a unanimous judgment. 11 is a large number, different nationalities, different regions of the world.
And for each one of these items, the fitment has to be done.
Food grains will cost less from July 1. It has been decided to exempt daily use commodities from the tax. Were finalized on the first day of the 2-day meeting of the GST Council in Srinagar. The meeting was headed by Union Finance Minister. 17% items are in the 12% tax bracket, 43% in 18% tax slab, and only 19% of the goods fall in the top bracket of 28%.
वो जो 30-31% वाले टैक्सेस हैं, उन सबको 28 पे लाया गया है. उनमें से कुछ आइटम ऐसे हैं जो कॉमन मैन के इस्तेमाल में आए, जिनकी अभी लिस्ट दी गई.
Remarkable consensus that India is right in the interim. That's a point to be emphasized and underlined.
On to some more news. It is the second day of the crucial GST Council meeting. On the day one,
exempt from taxation, mithai or sweets will attract 5% tax. Hair oil, soaps and toothpaste will be charged with a single national sales tax or GST of 18%, and daily use items like sugar, tea, coffee.
लगभग हमारा जो कोड होता है, उसमें जो 4-digit कोड है, उसमें 1211 आइटम है, 1211 items.
On top of the peak rate, small cars will attract a 1% cess, mid-size cars will attract 3% and luxury cars 15%. The Finance Minister has assured the Jammu
उनको 31 से 28 लाने की बजाय 18 में ले गए हैं. So there will be a substantial reduction as far as those items are concerned.
7% of the items fall under the exempt list, while 14% goods and service tax rollout for the state while respecting its social status.
Jammu and Kashmir is not a producing state, it is a consuming state. GST is a consumption-based tax. तो जो यहाँ पे प्रोडक्शन के लिए टैक्स नहीं मिलता, जो कंजम्पशन होगी उसके लिए टैक्स मिलेगा, और इसलिए जम्मू और कश्मीर के अपना टैक्स रेवेन्यू काफी हद तक बढ़ेगा जीएसटी लागू होने से। हर कंजम्पशन स्टेट का बढ़ेगा और जम्मू कश्मीर भी कंजम्पशन स्टेट है।
स्टेट्स जो इंपोर्टिंग स्टेट्स है जैसे J&K है, उनको काफी फायदा होगा। हमें अपनी जगह ये एस्टीमेट है कि जीएसटी से 1500 से 2000 करोड़ तक हमको टैक्स रेवेन्यू में फायदा आएगा। आम आदमी के लिए प्राइसेस बहुत कम हो जाएंगे अगले 3-4 साल में।
On day 2 of the meeting today, tax rates for items that will be decided include gold, footwear, branded items and BD. Also, GST for packed food items is to be finalized. A decision on the rate of tax for services is also expected. Arun Jaitley said there will be no inflationary impact of GST. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And condolence messages continue to pour in for the Environment Minister Anil Madhav Dave, who passed away in the national capital on Thursday. The minister's last rites will be performed on the banks of Narmada River in Hoshangabad district today. The Madhya Pradesh government has declared a 2-day state mourning as a mark of respect to the departed leader. Science and Technology Minister Harshvardhan will now take additional charge of the Environment Ministry.
Union Environment Minister Anil Madhav Dave passed away in New Delhi on Thursday. 60-year-old Dave complained of uneasiness at his residence in the morning and was rushed to AIIMS, where he was declared dead. A two-time Rajya Sabha MP from Madhya Pradesh and a former pracharak of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Dave was appointed the Environment Minister last year. President Pranab Mukherjee expressed shock at the sudden demise. In his condolence message, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari said, Anil Madhav Dave's departure is a personal loss. Shri Dave was an active and respected member of the Rajya Sabha since 2009, and his presence would be missed by all who worked with him. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also condoled the death of Dave.
Very quiet, very simple, very articulate, and above all, the finest human being. It's a great loss to the government, to the party, to the people of the country, particularly people of Madhya Pradesh.
उनके निधन से हमने एक कुशल संगठक, नदी संरक्षक, पर्यावरणविद और एक ऐसा नेतृत्व जो देश के लिए समर्पित था खोया है। उनका जाना देश की, प्रदेश की अपूर्णीय क्षति है।
मैं उनके निधन पर मुझे दुख भी है, अफसोस भी है, और उनकी उम्र भी कुछ नहीं थी, तो इस आघात को सहने की ताकत उनके परिवार को मिले, इसकी मैं कामना करता हूं।
हम लोग अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करते हैं। निश्चित रूप से भगवान उनकी आत्मा को शांति दे, और जो शोक संतप्त परिवार है और उनके जो ईस्ट में निकट के लोग हैं, उन्हें इस दुख को सहने की शक्ति दे।
काफी सालों से उन्होंने अपने जीवन में सादगी से रहकर सिर्फ देश की सेवा में, समाज को ठीक करने के लिए अपना पूरा जीवन का योगदान दिया।
बहुत ही प्रभावी सांसद थे, कई सेलेक्ट कमेटी में अच्छा काम किया था, और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि नर्मदा के प्रति उनको अगाध प्रेम था, और नर्मदा का संवर्धन हो, इसके लिए उन्होंने स्वयं लंबी यात्रा नर्मदा में की थी।
A keen strategist, Anil Madhav Dave is best known for crafting BJP's political strategy to unseat Congress stalwart Digvijay Singh as Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister in 2003. His phenomenal organizational skills were in ample evidence as the BJP's election chief for MP Assembly elections from 2003 to 2013 and the Lok Sabha elections in 2004, 2009 and 2014. Dave was also an expert in river conservation and made his mark on the Narmada River conservation. He founded the Narmada Samagra NGO that worked on the conservation of Narmada River and its catchment areas through activities and events. As a member of the Upper House, he also served as member of the Parliamentary Forum on Global Warming and Climate Change. Besides keen interest in environmental issues, Dave's other passion was flying. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And with that, we'll slip into a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. The Supreme Court on Thursday reserved its verdict on petitions challenging the constitutional validity of triple talaq among Muslims. For the last 6 days, the Apex Court has been hearing submissions from various parties, including the Centre, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board and other parties. Defending triple talaq, the AIMPLB said that it is ready to issue an advisory to all the qazis to ascertain women's view on triple talaq. On Wednesday, the bench questioned the government as to why it did not legislate the regulation of the marriages and divorces among Muslims. The court has kept the issue of polygamy and nikah halala pending for the future. The Supreme Court is hearing a number of petitions challenging triple talaq, polygamy and nikah halala in the Muslim community. The hearing on the case began on May 11th.
I have suggested that this harmonizing effort has to be undertaken, whereas the Personal Law Board has said that the harmonizing effort cannot be done by court and should not be done by court. They've suggested legislation. I have said that if something is part of personal law, then neither legislation nor courts can interfere.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personnel, Public Grievances, Law and Justice is scheduled to meet today over the issue of electoral reforms. The committee, led by Congress leader Anand Sharma, has summoned senior officials of the poll panel to discuss issues related to the reliability of the electronic voting machines. This following demands from several opposition parties to revert to the paper ballot system. Following concerns over the reliability of the EVMs, the Election Commission challenged the political parties to prove that the machines used in the recent assembly polls were tampered with. The planned challenge could take place later this month. Last week, Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi had said that EVMs with voter verifiable paper audit trail will be used in all future elections. And Home Minister Rajnath Singh will be on a 3-day visit to Sikkim today. During his visit, he will chair the meeting with Chief Ministers of the 5 Himalayan states in Gangtok on Saturday to review issues pertaining to Indo-China border security. The Home Minister is expected to discuss border infrastructure work, development of roads, as well as coordination issues between the states and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police. The meeting will be attended by Chief Ministers of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. The Home Ministry has said that the objective of the meeting is to strengthen coordination with these 5 states to improve overall border security. Rajnath Singh will also visit Nathula Pass and the ITBP border post at Lachung to meet troopers deputed on the Indo-China border. His visit comes days after India refused to participate in China's Belt and Road Conference in Beijing and a month after the diplomatic tussle with China over Dalai Lama's visit to Arunachal Pradesh. On to some more national news, a bridge in Goa collapsed on Thursday, killing 2 people. Also, at least 50 people went missing as the bridge connecting Sanvodam and Karchoram villages in South Goa district caved in. The incident took place when the victims were standing on the dilapidated bridge watching an operation of rescue of the youth who allegedly jumped into the river to commit suicide. The Portuguese-era bridge across the river Sanvodam, a tributary of Zuari, was closed for traffic for the last 4 years. Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar told reporters that all concerned agencies have been pressed into action. Divers from the Indian Navy and a private lifeguard agency were called in for the rescue operation. Till the last reports came in, the operation was still on.
Rescue operation was going on here. The people had gathered atop the breach, and since the breach was very weak, the breach part of the breach started collapsing, and it collapsed. Around 15 people as of now, in fact, they swam ashore, and 5 of them, they were admitted to the hospital.
So immediately the fire brigade, which was already here, already started the search with the help of the police. And the Drishti lifeguards were called in. About a team of about 15 of them is here. And Heavy has also joined in with their own equipment, divers and all. And they are helping in the overall assessment.
A look at what else is making news across the country nationwide. The guns fell silent on Thursday in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district after 8 days of shelling and firing by Pakistani troops along the line of control. However, the number of people evacuated has gone up to over 2,200. Pakistani troops violated ceasefire from May 10th to 18th on forward posts and civilian areas along the international border in Jammu and Rajouri districts and along the LOC in Rajouri from May 13th to 17th. Militants attacked the ancestral residence of Kulgam MLA Muhammad Yusuf Tarigami in South Kashmir district late on Thursday evening. No one was reportedly hurt in the incident. Police officers, however, rushed to the spot following the attack. Two 145mm 777 ultralight howitzers will arrive in India from the US today. They are the first inductions of the weapons after the Bofors scandal broke out nearly 30 years ago. Procured for the Indian Army, the howitzer will be deployed along the Indo-China border. India is buying 145 howitzers from US at the cost of around $700 million. Biju Janata Dal's Rajya Sabha nominee Pradeep Kesri Dev was on Thursday elected unopposed to the lone vacant seat from Odisha in the upper house. The announcement was made by the returning officer A.K. Sarangi. Dev had filed his nomination for the by-polls to the vacant Rajya Sabha seat from Odisha on May 15th, the last date for filing nominations. A Delhi-based businessman on Thursday claimed he had donated 2 crore rupees to the Aam Aadmi Party, rubbishing sacked Delhi Minister Kapil Mishra's allegation that the amount was by a shell company. Mukesh Sharma, a property dealer and a tobacco trader, said he had donated the money through a demand draft. Earlier on Sunday, Mishra had questioned about the donation of 2 crore rupees. And on to some international developments. At least 50 people have been killed in an attack by Islamic State on government forces and pro-regime villages in central Syria's Hama province. According to the UK-based War Monitor, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the attack on the villages of Akareb and Al-Mabouj killed at least 15 civilians and 27 pro-government fighters. 10 bodies were yet to be identified as government fighters or local residents. The IS also lost 15 fighters in the attack. At least 2 more civilians were injured in shelling in the nearby town of Salameh. The observatory said IS had seized control of Akareb and part of Al-Mabouj. IS had reportedly attacked Al-Mabouj before devastating it. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei cast his vote today as polls opened for the presidential elections. The polls have turned out to be a direct contest between incumbent President Hassan Rouhani, a pragmatic who has campaigned on a platform of opening up the country to the West and easing social restrictions, and hardline driver Ibrahim Raisi, who served in top position in the judiciary for years. Rouhani is standing for a second term against other candidates, including his own vice president. If no candidate manages to score 50% of the votes in the first round today, there will be a runoff a week later. Rouhani has promised to keep working to lift all sanctions against Iran in the next administration. But analysts say the biggest challenge Rouhani faces is the failure of some of his commitments on the economy, which is the main catalyst for Raisi.
من یه رئیس جمهوری میخوام که بتونه تو ایران با مردم خوب کار کنه و جوانها همه مردم ایران باشه و بتونه انشاءالله با فساد و فقر مبارزه کنه.
مثلا تو دانشگاه خیلی بیشتر بچه‌ها امیدوار شدن. ما ورودیای چند سال قبلمون همشون دلشون می‌خواسته برن و الان اینجوری نیست واقعا. الان بچه‌ها اینجوری ان که استارتاپ بزنیم، کار کنیم تو ایران، جای پیشرفت داره و خب این خیلی خوشحال کننده.
Now to the US, where the Trump-Russia probe controversy refuses to die down. President Donald Trump on Thursday denied asking former FBI Director James Comey to back off from the investigation into the possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia and the role played by former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Earlier this week, there were several news reports that Trump made a request regarding Flynn during a February meeting in the Oval House. These accounts were based on a memo James Comey drafted at the time as FBI Director. At the news conference, President Donald Trump also reiterated his claim that the Justice Department's decision to appoint a special counsel to look into possible collusion with Russia was a witch hunt, saying he had never colluded with the Russians.
Go on record here. Did you at any time urge former FBI Director James Comey in any way, shape, or form to close or to back down the investigation into Michael Flynn? And also, as you look back...
No. Next question. Director Comey was very unpopular with most people. I actually thought when I made that decision, and I also got a very, very strong recommendation, as you know, from the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein. But when I made that decision, I actually thought that it would be a bipartisan decision because you look at all of the people on the Democratic side, not only the Republicans, that were saying such terrible things about Director Comey.
And that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. But before we go, we leave you with these visuals of Cannes Film Festival, in which is the 70th edition of the film festival. Indian directors and actors arrive to represent the country. India has been an integral part of the festival for the years. Celebrities walked the red carpet at the opening ceremony. They included Bella Hadid, Kristen Dunst, Uma Thurman and Julianne Moore, Will Smith and several others. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, who was first in the festival with Devdas in 2002, is again presenting the Sanjay Leela Bhansali film at the festival. Sonam Kapoor and Deepika Padukone were also present at the film fest.
S'il te plaît quand même.
Quand même.
Tu vas y arriver.
Je suis terrifié.